Good morning, everyone, respected madams and sirs. Today, we are here to have a micro teaching on the topic the circadian rhythm. Myself, Dr. Abir Lal Shen, second year physiology PGT, Jorhat Medical College, and my moderator is Dr. Geeta Borua, professor in HOD, Department of Physiology, Jorhat Medical College. So, the learning objectives will be: first of all, the definition of circadian rhythm. Next, we will know about the role of the suprachiasmatic nucleus, also known as the biological clock. Next, we will know about the sleep-wake cycle, the circadian pattern of cortisol secretion, the circadian pattern of temperature control, and lastly, the circadian pacemaker. So to start with the definition of circadian rhythm, the circadian rhythm means 24 hours fluctuation in body functions, that is day and night variation or variation during light and dark cycle. Some of the body functions which shows circadian pattern includes sleep habit, the corticosteroid secretion, the variation in body temperature, and the melatonin secretion. Most of these circadian functions are regulated by the hypothalamus due to the presence of suprachiasmatic nucleus, about which we are going to discuss in the next slide. So let's discuss about the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is also known as the biological clock. The reason for the rhythmic discharge exhibited by this suprachiasmatic nucleus, it has been observed that the neurons of the suprachiasmatic nucleus continues to discharge rhythmically in vitro even after its removal from the brain. It is proved that there are some specific genes in the neurons of the suprachiasmatic nucleus that regulate this rhythmic discharge pattern. 4 such genes have been identified in mammals. In the neuron of the suprachiasmatic nucleus, these genes are activated diurnally that produce some new proteins. Once this protein enters into the cells, they enters into the cytoplasm and modify the cell functions. Change in the cytoplasmic activity alters the discharge pattern, and then once their action is over, these proteins return back to the nucleus and they inhibit negatively, they show the negative inhibition of the genes that produce them. Thus, in a way, the rhythmic discharge of suprachiasmatic nucleus are regulated by negative feedback mechanism so that they are able to control the circadian rhythm of that body functions within a physiological range. Now we will discuss about the sleep-wake cycle. The sleep-wake cycle is mainly controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, also known as the biological clock. The suprachiasmatic nucleus gets the information regarding day or night through the retinohypothalamic tract. The retinohypothalamic fibers bring the retinal information through the optic chiasma to convey to the suprachiasmatic nucleus. From the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the information is then carried through the preganglionic sympathetic fibers to reach the superior cervical ganglion, and from there through the postganglionic sympathetic neurons it is the pineal gland. The pineal gland is situated in the roof of the third ventricle in the diencephalon and is surrounded by meninges. This pineal gland consists of glial cells and pinealocytes which are capable of secretory function. This pineal gland secretes the hormone melatonin, and the hormones which are required for the synthesis of melatonin from serotonin takes place through the mechanism of N-acetylation and O-methylation. And once the melatonin is produced within the pineal gland, it is confined within the pineal parenchymal cells, from where it is drained into the circulation or to the cerebrospinal fluid, about which we will discuss in the next slide the mechanism. So in this slide we will be discussing about how the melatonin is synthesized from the pineal gland. First of all, the serotonin in the presence of the enzyme N-acetyl transferase is converted to N-acetyl serotonin, which takes place in the pineal parenchymal cells, and this N-acetyl serotonin by the action of hydroxyindole O-methyl transferase enzyme is then converted to melatonin, which is present in the pineal gland, and from the pineal gland this melatonin is then drained to the blood. So in the right side of the diagram, as we see that the melatonin secretion follows the circadian rhythm, that is the dark shaded portion shows the night time, whereas the without shade the portion it is the daytime. It has been found that the melatonin secretion is negligible or almost reduced during the daytime, whereas during the night time it is synthesized is maximum. So this diurnal variation of the melatonin synthesis is brought about by the norepinephrine, which is secreted by the postganglionic sympathetic nerves that innervate the pineal gland. This norepinephrine acts via the adrenergic receptors to increase the cyclic AMP intracellularly which increase the N-acetyltransferase activity. As we see from the left side of this flowchart, that this N-acetyltransferase activity is used for the synthesis conversion of serotonin to melatonin. Therefore, once this N-acetyltransferase is increased, then the melatonin is also produced. So in this way, the melatonin conversion takes place and it shows the diurnal variation. In this slide, we will be discussing about how the alternating activity of brainstem and hypothalamic neurons influences the different states of consciousness. So in the left side of this of this diagram, we find that the waking stage, whereas the right side it shows the sleep stage, that the REM sleep. So to start with the waking stage, it is seen that whenever there is increase in the norepinephrine and serotonergic neurons, and then there is decrease in the influence of acetylcholine, it leads to waking. Also the waking is contributed by decrease in the synthesis of the inhibitory GABA neurons and increase in the activation of the thalamus and the cortex. Whereas if we see in the how the REM sleep takes place, it is found that for the REM sleep to takes place, the norepinephrine and serotonergic goes down, whereas the acetylcholine takes the upper hand. If we consider the NREM sleep, then there is increase in the GABA, that is the inhibitory neurons, whereas decrease in histamine and the decrease in the activation of the thalamus and the cortex, which leads to NREM sleep. So the evidence suggests that the suprachiasmatic nucleus have two peaks of circadian activity. It is seen that during the daytime there is usually no effect on the suprachiasmatic nucleus, but whenever there is dark, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, it delays the onset of the sleep period, whereas just before dawn it accelerates the onset of the next sleep period. The injections of melatonin also found to have the similar effects. So in a nutshell, the circadian control of sleep-wake cycle can be summarized as: first of all, there will be photic stimulation of the retina, then it leads to the activation of the retinohypothalamic fibers, which causes stimulation of the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Then it leads to activation of sympathetic fibers via the superior cervical ganglion, which leads to stimulation of the pineal gland. The pineal gland stimulation leads to the release of melatonin, which helps in the rhythmic control of the sleep-wake cycle. So in this diagram, we will be learning about the circadian pattern of cortisol secretion. It is seen that the different corticosteroid hormones like the corticotrophin releasing factor, the adrenocorticotropic hormone and the cortisol, their secretion is high in the early morning hours, whereas they tends to decrease in the late evening period. In this diagram also we find that from 12 am to around 8 am their concentration increases and reaches the peak, then it gradually decreases towards the late evening. So this circadian control or circadian pattern of the cortisol secretion is true for those persons who are following the normal sleeping habits. If a person's sleeping habit is altered, then this circadian pattern also changes. Therefore, whenever we are going to estimate the blood levels of cortisol, it is very important to mention the time of the cycle in which the measurements are made. Next comes the circadian pattern of temperature control. In normal human core temperature, it shows a regular circadian fluctuation of 0.5 to 0.7 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the body is lowest at about 6 am in the morning, whereas it is highest in the evening. So in this diagram we see that the euthyroid, this is the normal individual, shows this rhythmic control, whereas in case of the hyperthyroidism there is slight elevation of about 0.5 degrees Celsius even in normal condition, whereas in hypothyroidism there is a slight decrease in the body temperature. In certain individuals, even in normal circumstances, they tend to show a hyperthermia. This is known as constitutional hyperthermia. But this basal body temperature, they increases whenever there is a person is doing some activities. This is due to the generation of heat by the contraction of the skeletal muscle, and the heat dissipating mechanism fails to handle this heat produced, so there is increase in the basal body temperature. There is also rise in basal body temperature of the human females at the time of ovulation. In this diagram, the blue dots represent the temperature scale, whereas the other dots that represent the hormones. It is seen that irrespective of the concentration of inhibin A, progesterone and luteinizing hormone, the temperature, which is marked by blue dots, shows the peak at the day of the ovulation, and once the ovulation day is over, again it comes down. So this is the diagrammatic representation of certain body functions that exhibit circadian rhythm. First of all, the body temperature, as we said, it increases during the late evening, whereas it is minimum during the morning. The systolic blood pressure also increases during the daytime, whereas it is reduced in the sleeping hours. The plasma growth hormone shows a peak in the sleeping time from 12 am to 8 am, whereas it is reduced during the daytime. The plasma ACTH, it increases in the early morning time just before waking, whereas it is reduced towards the evening time. Plasma melatonin secretion increased in the dark hours from 12 am to 8 am, whereas it is reduced in the daytime. Some other functions like plasma aldosterone also increases during the working hours of the day whenever a person is in upright position. This may be due to the reduced plasma aldosterone clearance by the liver, and also due to the increased plasma renin secretion during the daytime. In hospitalized or bedridden patients, they also shows the similar pattern of increase in plasma renin and aldosterone in the morning before waking up. And the bronchial muscles, they also exhibit a circadian pattern. This shows maximum bronchoconstriction at around 6 am in the morning, whereas there is maximum bronchodilation at about 6 pm in the evening. So with this, we come to the end of our microteaching discussion. Thank you all for your patient hearing. Thanks.